Before we get into the latest Texans news and rumors on today's video, I want to ask you a simple question, Texans fans. What is your confidence level in the Texans getting a dub on Sunday Night Football up against the Detroit Lions? Scale it 1 to 10. 1, you have no confidence at all. 10, you think it's an easy dub. I'm going to go with 11, because 7, 1, 3, that equals 11. Texans wearing the battle reds. You cannot take my confidence away from this team. I don't care how bad we played. I don't care what's going on. It's 7-1-3. It's H-Town, hold it down. And if you're not with it, jump off the boat, because the Texans bandwagon, I know we're pretty low right now. I know people are down and out. But the Battle Reds are here to save the season. And if you don't agree with me, I don't know what else to tell you. But let's get into today's Texans news and rumors. We have the latest injury news on some top Texans players coming up on today's show. And a look at who could possibly play left guard for the Houston Texans. Obviously, we know Kenyon Green injured, has that dislocated shoulder, but who will be stepping in this Sunday at the left guard position? Could it be Zachary Thomas? The Texans just claimed him off of waivers. That means he is added onto the 53-man roster. 8 games played, a former 5th-round pick. Could he possibly be an answer? I know he's listed as a tackle. Could scoot in on the interior. The Texans adding more and more offensive line depth, more low-key offensive line depth. They've signed a couple guys to the practice squad. They've worked out some, lower-level guys. Now they're claiming Zachary Thomas off of waivers. So not any big splashes, but maybe it's a little bandage here, a little bandage there. Maybe that'll fix up this offensive line. We also have some more news coming from Aaron Wilson. Nico Collins has passed all tests for the hamstring. No setbacks per league sources. Regained his speed, mobility. He's ready to go. Matter of when, not if, he'll be designated for return. Team still determining whether he'll play Sunday night up against the Lions. We'll get into more about that because he was not at practice today. So wasn't Christian Harris, but we did get some news on Christian Harris today as well, that he is expected to return after week 15. And I know you're kind of looking down and be like, Jeremy, it is week 10 right now. Week 15, yeah, not expecting to have him back until after the Texans bye week in week 14. Turns out that calf injury was a lot more serious than a lot of people expected, and his recovery did not go as smoothly as they would have wished. Remember, he tried to come back during training camp, during the preseason, practiced the day, and then immediately left in the middle of practice, was not seen again at another Texans practice or working out. So Christian Harris expected to be back week 15. Looks like they're being more cautious. And it's been noted that Henry To'o, his play this year, has kind of let them be more cautious with Christian Harris. And the, play of the linebackers of the Texans so far has really helped them in allowing Christian Harris to go through his rehab and not kind of speed him up. Speaking of linebackers, Azees Al-Shaair is practicing today. He suffered a knee injury up against the New England Patriots. Good news for the Texans defense to have him back out on the field. He is the captain. He is the guy with the green dot whenever he's out there for this defense. So to have him back, especially before a massive week, 10 Sunday Night Football game up against the Lions, that could be huge for this Texans defense. Another veteran returning to practice today is Jimmy Ward. Have not seen him for multiple weeks. 13 tackles on the season. Eric Murray's been playing pretty well. The rookie Kalen Bullock has been playing pretty well as well at the safety position. Could Jimmy Ward come in and just add something to that room? I don't think he starts even if he is good to go, but he adds some good depth to this team, some good leadership coming off the bench at the safety position. Another guy who is back, Jarrett Patterson. He cleared concussion protocol. He stepped in that Indianapolis Colts win at the left guard spot, only for a drive before he had to be escorted off the field and exited with concussion-like symptoms. Right now, the depth chart that I have Kendrick Green slated in at left guard, but it could be Jarrett Patterson stepping in for this team. I want to hear from you folks at home. Who do you think should start at the left guard spot? Do you think it's Jarrett Patterson, type JP, or do you think it's Kendrick Green, type KG? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you hit with the YouTube ad break, perfect timing. Scroll on down and let me know who should start at left guard. I think you got to go with Jarrett Patterson with the start at left guard. Kendrick Green, he just hasn't showed me enough to where I feel confident of really just slating him in next to Laramie Tunsil there. Jarrett Patterson, the one drive that he played at left guard, the Texans scored a touchdown on that drive. It looked pretty good. I think he's very smart. Remember, he stepped in at center last year during his rookie season, and he played pretty well. The only concern that I have with Jarrett Patterson is in the run game. Pass blocking, I think he's a pretty smart guy, and I think placing him next to Juice Scruggs at the left guard spot, I think he'll actually play better than Kenyon Green or Kendrick Green could at the left guard position. That's why I would start Jarrett Patterson if I was D'Amico Ryans. We have some more injury news, some more stuff to get to in just a moment, but got to tell you about today's sponsor of today's program, and that is Prize Picks Basketball. It's back, baby, and get started with the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there where you can turn your football knowledge, your basketball knowledge into some cold, hard cash. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week. They offer deals like Taco Tuesday where their discount projections up to 25%. And really, all it is choosing more or less on any projected stat type. I've been rolling with the CJ Stroud more on passing yards. We'll have to see where that's set, especially with the news of Nico Collins looming in the distance. But I think I got to take the more on this one. It's prime time, baby. Life's too short to take the less. So get started with Prize Picks today. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So go get started today with Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, a couple guys who weren't practicing today who got me a little concerned. Will Anderson Jr., remember he got injured on Thursday night up against the Jets. Ankle injury, not practicing today. There was a couple trolls out there. Hey, Will Anderson out for the year. Fake news. Do not listen to anything that you see on X, on whatever, saying anything like that about Will Anderson Jr. D'Amico Ryans said it is kind of day-to-day with Will Anderson, looking to see if he'll play Sunday night. Remember, I told you all about Aaron Wilson's tweet about Nico Collins and his progressing through the week. Well, he's not practicing yet, and from what I'm hearing, looks like he's going to practice on maybe Friday, maybe practice on game day, give it a go, and then he's going to be a game-time decision this week for the Houston Texans. They don't want to overwork him, so that's the deal with Nico Collins. Dameon Pierce, he is also not practicing right now, still dealing with that groin injury that's kind of plagued him throughout the season. Really hope the Texans are able to get him back, especially this Sunday night. Joe Mixon's been great, but Dameon Pierce offers a really good 1-2 punch for this Texans offense. Now, let's look across enemy lines to the Detroit Lions and what they've got going on. Because the injury front, they're honestly, I'm not going to lie, they're pretty light on injuries right now. But they do have some interesting movement on their roster. Jameson Williams, he has a suspension lifted for him. He served a 2-game suspension for PEDs with the Lions. Now coming back, not good news for the Texans secondary because Jameson Williams is a burner. Also, they got better at the trade deadline, unfortunately. Zadarius Smith traded to the Lions from the Cleveland Browns. He is the Aiden Hutchinson replacement for the Lions defensive line. Pascal, the guy on the other side, he missed last week, but that was with an illness, so the Lions should be full-fledged, full ready to go on offense and defense for this game up against the Houston Texans. That means one more thing for this team. This is a massive game. It's a massive game for the Houston Texans. This is a get-right game, but against the best team in the NFC right now. Right up there with the Minnesota Vikings, and look what happened whenever you played them in Minnesota. This is a game where it is put up or shut up for this team. They have been dogged on. They have been called frauds. They've been called, imposters of the AFC, and the only reason that they're going to make the playoffs is because they're in the worst division in football, the AFC South. So this is a moment for D'Amico Ryans, for this roster, for this team, to look everybody in the NFL, look everybody in the eyes and say, hey, we are legit. We are a team that cannot be trounced on, because it's a time for the Texans to either step up or buckle underneath that pressure. What will the Texans do? What will D'Amico Ryans have this roster ready to go on Sunday? Well, we'll have to stick around and find out. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're tuned in, because I'll be going live for that game, and I expect a lot from this team up against the Lions on Sunday Night Football.